Hey everyone, today we're going to be building a tiny cabin that is off the grid. I wanted this to be sort of a whimsical, rustic cabin that you would find in the middle of the woods. And I wanted us to be able to be self-sufficient here, so there is a candle making station and insect farms, as well as some gardening beds. So this is the basic shape that the house will have, and I do leave everything I used is off the grid. These are all the things that I will be using in the bathroom, but it does change shape later, and I also did include the rustic version of laundry, as well as a woodworking table, just to make it more seem like the thing could have made all their the bathtub and their furniture. At first I thought of using this bed from Parenthood, but I did change it because I didn't like these swatches. I didn't feel that they matched like the vibe that I was looking for, so I changed for a cats and dogs bed later. But the kitchen uses these sort of more industrial counters. I wish they were completely wooden, but it still feels like they were built, I think. I did change back to this Discover University window, and I wanted to use the sort of this space to put some clutter up there, and I add some of the mugs later, but I don't show it because it was very finicky. Now I'm just adding some clutter up on the fridge, because this is a very small space and I still wanted it to look like it was being used and functional. So this is the cats and dogs bed that I mentioned, and here we have like a very small living room and dining area. It's just a table and two chairs. I like the idea of the chairs being mismatched, like they could have been something they found or that they built, but that they wanted to try like different styles of chairs. This is sort of an entryway where there is the laundry day hamper and a few other things. I added this, I think it's like a Lego piece from Parenthood, but it looks kind of like a bar of soap, because it felt a bit out of place to add other bathroom clutter. And so I'm just adding some rugs here, and I end up changing this side table because I wanted something that looked more like a dresser, but that happens later. And I decorate this shelf from laundry day. Here I'm cluttering up the kitchen a little more. I wanted to have this look like a basket of vegetables. I used some from Debug, and I add the aprons because every kitchen needs aprons. This shelf is from Jungle Adventure, and I didn't end up keeping it because I wanted it to be a functional space, but for the moment it has that clutter. That's the side table I mentioned. It is also from Laundry Day, and I just moved the little cube there. Oh, and also you can have a dog if you wish. So this is what I ended up doing. I added this bookshelf so that it would be functional, and I cluttered it up a little. The picture is from Laundry Day, it's from Debug, and I also had one of a very similar thing from the candle making station on the kitchen, and that it's also from Debug, but that one doesn't have a name, it's just called Debug. So I'm working on the outside. I added these awnings and some terrain paint so that it would look a bit more like you weren't just in the grass. So there's also the flower arranging table and the insect farms and the thing for the bees. And some extra seating so that you can eat or just be outside. Right now the terrain paint looks not very convincing, but I do add some fencing and landscaping so that it looks better. So here I'm trying to add these flowers. I think I changed them later. I tried this grass, I also don't like it, so I changed it once again and I used these ones. So this is the fence that I will be using, and I did change the shape a little because it felt too straight. So the fence ends up having these sort of diagonal lines, and I changed the terrain paint to fit it a bit better. I tried using some fencing that wasn't from debug, but I didn't like it. It didn't fit correctly. I do that later. Here is some ivy from Discovery University that I wanted to use so that the house would look more, that it would look older and more like it was in the forest. So this is what I end up doing for the fencing. And I correct the terrain paint and I add more ivy. I like these corner pieces, but you do have to size them down if you want to use them on a single-story building. So I added more of these flowers that I used in other parts of the build and to fill in the gaps that were between the wall and the flowers. I used other grass pieces. So those are the flower beds, and this is the candle making station. Because I figured if you leave off the grid, maybe you want more lighting. So I do end up some of these candles from Eco Lifestyle debug, but they don't. I believe that if you add them like this, you don't own them, so you can't light them up, I think. I'm not very sure. I added this pond. I had to move the house so that it would fit as I had it, but now it fits. And here is the trash can. I add another trash can inside, and I move around the plate. I also added some shelving and some rocks. Here's the other shelf that I add under the window. So if you decide to play in this build, it is up in the gallery if you want to download it. My EID is Veranio and it's spelled with a J. And thank you for watching.